are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and today we have another show lineup for y'all, man. We have a music artist here today, Pete Price. You can go to his website, petepricemusic.com, and today we're going to be talking about his album entitled Department of the Interior, and also discuss about his music career. Before we do that, I want to welcome Pete to the show and say, man, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Shamaya. How are you?
Man, life is great, and I know you have some amazing details to share with our audience. Before we talk about your recent project, Department of the Interior, kind of give the audience a background of who is Pete Price and what inspired you to get into music.
Well, I started at a very early age singing in the church choir. My dad was a minister. I'm a preacher's kid, and so I was also a very rambunctious kid. He wanted to keep me out of trouble, so he tried to find all kinds of different ways to get me engaged in the church. And one of those ways was the church choir. So I started singing when I was around 10 and found out I was pretty good at it. And then I joined my first band when I was 12 and junior high, and just kind of went from there. Started playing in bands, going up through my 20s, duos, and playing solo and stuff, writing songs, and joined a band here in Ohio over 30 years ago, and we're still together. We're still making music. And when the pandemic hit, all our gigs got canceled. So I just went right back into the studio and started writing music. And about 16 months later, Department of the Interior came out, and I've just kind of been riding that horse.
And you mentioned in the green room that you were from Dayton, Ohio, or you were born. Looking at your website real quick, you were born in Missouri, but you were raised in Dayton, Ohio. When you started, or when you joined the band, you are the lead guitarist of the Fries Band, and people go to the Facebook page, the Fries Band on Facebook. What was it like, the process of being part of that band? Were y'all friends that knew each other and y'all just said, hey, let's go start this thing? Or did you network and found some other musicians? How did that play out?
Well, I started out playing in open stages. I had been out of music for a little while, and I had sold all my guitars, and I really, really missed it. So I bought another guitar. I started going out to open stages, and I ran into a guy who was a member of that band, and he really liked my music, and so I started networking with him and met the other guys in the group. I substituted a few times when they needed a extra vocal and an extra guitarist, and about a year and a half later, one of the guys quit, and so they called on me to be the third member. It was back in the Unplugged era. If you remember that, it was a lot of acoustic stuff. And we were like three acoustic guitar players with three vocals. And we did a lot of harmonies, a lot of Eagles, Beatles, America, James Taylor, all the good light rock. Crosby, Stills, and Nash was a big part of our, musical set. And then we just sort of evolved from a kind of an acoustic-based, unplugged type act up to the band that we are today, which is a five-piece band with drums, bass, keyboards, and two guitars. But our focus on vocal harmonies is still first and foremost, and so that's kind of what we're known for here in Ohio.
And speaking of being known for that in Ohio, I'm sure there's other bands out there where you are. So do you find yourself meeting other bands out there and maybe collabing or just like chopping it up and having conversations about the music that y'all create?
Yeah. In fact, I was just down at a studio last week, and we were working on somebody else's song. This attorney had written a song, and he wanted some musicians to build it out. So I was down there with one of my bandmates, and then we were with members of two other bands. And so I had known this one band. We've kind of come up together, and we've both been together for over 30 years, our two bands. But then this other guy has also been in a very prominent band here in Ohio. And so I got a chance to meet him and work with him. And it's super fun to collaborate with people. And of course, like the Price Brothers, which is the band that I put together in order to perform all the original music that I've written. Those guys are in different bands. Some of them are in multiple bands, and so I mean we cross pollinate all the time.
Once again, listen to Refocus Radio, talking to our guest, Pete Price. You can go to his website, petepricemusic.com. And I mean, sounds like y'all being occupied with a lot of events and busyness. So is there any near events or anything in the future that you can share our audience that they can look forward to during Ohio area?
Yeah, sure. In fact, we're going to be on WYSO radio. It's the local NPR affiliate. We will be on April the 5th at 7:30. That show is called Kaleidoscope, and it's 91.3 on the FM dial, and it's WYSO, and they're online as well. So you can go online and listen to the interview, and the Price Brothers are going to play probably 4 or 5 songs, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. And then I also play in a duo with an old friend of mine, and that duo is called the Fairview Stringers. We have a show coming up on April 25th up in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And then the Fries Band gets going in May. Usually we're sort of a festival band, community concerts, that sort of thing. And we start on May the 23rd down in West Carrollton, Ohio. So it's going to be a busy time for us throughout the summer.
And plus, you've been featured on different platforms. I mean, I seen you were featured in Vince magazine. And what's it like to get the support from media outlets and organizations with your band and the work that y'all do?
It's really kind of overwhelming. I've sort of worked kind of in the shadows for a lot of my career. Just been sort of a team player, and a good singer and reasonably good guitar player. But when the pandemic hit, I started, doing a lot more songwriting, and that became the vehicle for me to kind of branch out on my own and kind of start doing my own thing. And it's just been amazing. I've gotten all kinds of great reviews and even some Album of the Year nominations on both my studio work and also my live work.
And for someone listening right now, maybe they're part of a band themselves. What would you tell a person who's looking to get more exposure for their music? Because in the music industry, that's kind of the focal point for a lot of creatives. They're trying to get their music heard and seen. Well, with your experience, how do you approach that? Do you have a certain system to where you're just like, all right, let me just focus on the music and it'll take care of itself? Or do you dabble into marketing to where you're trying to get yourself out there as well?
Well, first of all, you have to find your own voice and, find out who you are. God created each one of us as a unique and different person. And I think your job in life is to find out exactly, what your talents are. And then it's up to you to get them out there. And you need to do that any way that you can, either through networking locally, through social media. But I find that for me, I worked to try to promote Department of the Interior for probably about 7 months, and I was only able to get so far with self promotion. First of all, I'm not one of these kind of people that likes to blow his own horn, but I finally wound up working with a publicist, and we started at the first of the year, and the response and the placements that I've gotten have just been amazing. And so I would suggest that if you can, if you're going to do it right, you need to budget for some publicity, unless you are just the most super talented person in the world and everybody's just breaking down the doors to hear your music.
Yeah, I mean that's all jokes aside, that's not an easy task if you go to that alternative. But to your point, I think that's important for everyone to pay attention to is that yeah, you're gonna have to find work to delegate to other people and allow them to take you to that next level because you're right, you can't do everything all by yourself. I mean, if that was the case, I think everybody would be an expert in what they believe they're expert in. But switching gears to your project, Department of the Interior, tell the audience what's that project about? Because you have 12 songs on there. What is the theme that you were trying to accomplish there?
I tried to take a look at life and especially the inner life. People are pretty much living on the surface of their lives, and the superficial part can be fun, but there's a very, very rich inner life that is inside each and every one of us, and I tried to kind of dive below the surface somewhat and talk about thoughts and feelings and how to manage them and how to kind of get the most out of yourself. When fear takes over and it's telling you to stop, how to break through that barrier. um, One of the songs talks about loss and how if you have a person that's very special in your life, every day you need to, first of all, tell them how much they mean to you, but also do the things that they love to do too. And I mean, all the songs that there are a few like "Taste of Freedom," for instance, that's kind of a breakup song, and it's just more what you see is what you get. But very many of the songs are songs that try to go below the surface of just your everyday life.
And when people check out these songs, because I was looking at these titles, you have Foolish Heart, you have Common Ground, you have Diamonds in the Sky, you have The Crossing. What was the process like for you in production mode when you were writing these songs? Was this over a length of time, if you will, or did it kind of come, for you pretty quickly and you just knocked out each song one by one? What was that process for you selecting songs for your album?
Some of the songs were written several years ago. So when I started on this hot streak writing songs, I did pull in some of the songs that I felt were the best songs that I'd written in the past. But I probably 8 of the songs were just written from 2020 on, and I put out the album in 2022. So most of those songs were written very recently.
And once again, people can go check out your website. It's petepricemusic.com. And man, you mentioned the Price Brothers band and how y'all have upcoming events. I mean, y'all are really keeping busy. I mean, what have the locals in Dayton, Ohio, um, what has been their support like, and maybe feedback from listeners?
It's been amazing. Probably the biggest reach that we've gotten was by putting out a live album from the CD release party that we did last March, and that's allowed us to reach a whole bunch of people. The Price Brothers is a band that is formed from members who also play in other bands, and so it's difficult to pull them together to play a lot of live shows. But we do have a couple coming up this year that we're very excited about, and we kind of pick our spots as far as performing, but everybody loves doing it. Probably the big commitment for the Price Brothers this coming year is going back in the studio. I've written 15 songs that will probably get narrowed down to 10 or 11, and then we'll probably add maybe a cover to go along with those 11 songs. And so the guys are going to be in the studio with me quite a bit over the course of the summer, trying to get album 2 put together and released.
And looking at your like social media posts on Facebook, did a little spy on you. Is very authentic. People interacting with the posts, and it's just real, all organic, you know, work that you guys are doing on the social media. And why is it important for artists and bands out there to be as transparent as possible and just organic with how they push themselves on social media platforms?
Well, I suppose if I look at things, I always try to be honest about who I am and what I am about and what I want and that sort of thing. And that just sort of translates into how I live my life and, what I put out on social media. It's going to be, there's not going to be any BS there. It's just going to be what we're doing and, what people can do to interact with us. If somebody comes and leaves a comment or has a question or something like that, I'm not too busy to respond to them. So, I try to be real, I try to be genuine, and I try to be kind.
And it sounds like you keep it simple as possible, man, because I think sometimes we can overthink, what's my strategy for my social media campaign, and we think too much about the process of, I guess you can say, getting our songs out there or whatever your field is, my product out there or my service out there, that like you're alluding to, we forget the simple things, just interact, just be you, it's not about the numbers or how many people are following you or, you know, just the numbers in general. We can get too much caught up into that. How do you keep yourself from getting caught up into the popularity contest, if you will, and just focus on creating good music?
Well, I think that popularity is kind of an illusion, and it's basically sort of this emotional exercise in egotism that it's really a path that you really don't want to go down because what happens is you start getting a false image of yourself. You just want to stay honest and real with yourself in order to stay grounded. And so if you're starting to worry about your numbers and nobody responded to this post or stuff like that, you're losing focus on what your real purpose is, and that purpose is to make music.
Man, those some good words there, man. Once again, talking to our guest, Pete Price. You can go check out his website, petepricemusic.com. And also go to the Facebook page, The Fries Band. You can check them out as well and give them a like. What, outside of what we kind of been covering throughout the show, what's a great call to action that you want our listeners to take?
I think that there's a couple of things. First of all, you need to live your life with passion. You need to find out the things that really motivate and move you, and go for those things. The second thing is try to do some good. Either do some good for somebody who's in your life, or for a cause that you fervently believe in. Either with your time, your money, your involvement. I guess those are two of the things that I would suggest.
Man, true honor talking to Pete Price. Make sure you go check out his album, Department of the Interior. Make sure you go like the Facebook page on Facebook. It's The Fries Band. And also check out his website, petepricemusic.com. Like we said, man, earlier, it's a great conversation. Appreciate your time talking to Refocus Radio.
Hey, thanks a lot, Shemaiah. It was my pleasure.